Hi everybody, let's get started with After Effects and learn some rotoscoping. Today we're going to learn rotoscoping through the Roto Brush tool. The Roto Brush tool is my tool of choice for beginners, although at the end of the written tutorial you will see that I've added an additional tutorial for those of you who would like to learn with the pen tool. The pen tool is always a better choice as we can make finer adjustment to it and keep the information down to a dull roar that the program has to deal with. So we open up After Effects here, and as you can see we have our normal panels that you work with when you're doing other things in this project, and we're going to grab a clip and we're going to drop it into the effects control panel or project panel, and there you will see it. Again, you can simply drag and drop this into your timeline to begin. So here we have an image of a runner, and it's very short, and you might wonder why. Well, rotoscoping is very intensive labor-wise, and too long of an image for this project in class is not a good thing. So let's take a look here. We have the runner, and we have a little bit of space before his foot comes down. And in order to go frame by frame, you're going to hold Command and the page up or down button. So we go page up, and there you can see his foot has just entered, and hold Command again, and we can go back and it disappears again. So this is where we're going to begin. And to begin, we will come down here and grab the work area start, and then we're going to go along and see where this finishes. Well, right about there. So we'll hold Command again and go page back until we discover the last image of the foot. So there it is, and there it's back. And we're going to pull this marker in here. And now we've established our work area for the piece. And as you can see, there we have the foot. And in order to select the roto brush, you have to actually double-click the actual area here, and you'll note that up here it's pulled up layer runner for us to work on, and here's the composition where we were first at, and now we have this new layer that we've brought to the front. So up here you'll notice between the eraser tool and the push pin that there is another tool called the Roto Brush tool, and we're going to use that to begin painting our picture. So here you see we have a brush, and if you hold Command and click and drag up or down, you can make the brush bigger or smaller. We only need a moderate sized brush for this because it's just a little wee piece. So if we click and drag across the image, you can see that it's made an alpha channel here for the rotoscoping to begin with. Now this is your master channel, and everything will be based on this particular first piece that you've made. So when you work on it, be sure you capture as much as you can without capturing the scene around it. So one thing that we want to think about is our resolution here. We can keep it, this is our magnification, but if we go over and drag out a bit, we'll see some other things here. And we want to keep the resolution to full for this particular project because it requires a lot of space. So here we go. Look at this. I've moved it a little bit and we see even more of the runner's shoe. So I will capture that too. And as you saw, it now has captured more. but I'm not sure I like what's happening here. So if I hold Option down, I can remove a little bit of what I had selected there. So that is our first frame, and that's where we're going to get started. So Control, if you hold Control and, or pardon me, Command and plus or minus, you can see that we can zoom in and zoom out, and that's really important. You just got to make sure that you are actually capturing the entire image at the top of your picture. And if you're not, you can adjust here in the magnification too. So there we've got a good start. So let's continue. So this will be our master reference frame again. So let's advance one frame. So you must go one frame at a time when you are rotoscoping. So we do that again through Command and Page Up. And as you see, more of the shoe has been exposed, but the alpha channel only carries to here. So let's add a little more to it by brushing over top of that area. And as you can see, it's selected more, and there's just a little bit more right there. And that looks pretty good. Maybe just a tad more here, but we don't want to get too much into that green field or that'll start to come along with it. And we don't want that. So at this point, we're just going to continue to move along and capture more and more of these frames. So we'll move ahead one more, and as you can see, it's left behind a bit of a trail here, and we don't want that, so we'll hold Option and try and get rid of that, but it's missed a little bit, so we'll come back in and reestablish that line, and up here you can see it has missed some. So now it looks pretty good for that frame, and we'll continue on to the next one. And let's see, hold Shift or Option and get rid of what's there. It seemed to want to get rid of more than I wanted it to. And there, and that little bit up here. Everything looks good along the edge, and we can advance to the next frame and minus out some here. And it looks like we got to make our brush just a little bit smaller, so we will click and drag, get it just big enough to capture the laces. And up here. And we'll remove what's in here and that little dot right there. And then we'll make our brush bigger again, and we can come along and capture what we need. Not quite. Remove that. See, the brush tool is actually a little smarter than we think it is. We think our eyes are better, but in actual fact, the computer is doing most of the work for us. So that looks pretty good. Everything looks covered there. On to the next frame. And the laces have become a little more complex at this point. So let's see what we can do. And we'll get rid of that little piece right there. And that looks pretty good. You'll be able to go in and adjust other things later if they don't look right when it runs. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky. There, that's looking pretty good. Nope. And on to the next frame. And there you can see we've come to the end of the rotoscoping area that we want to do. So I want you to notice that there is a secondary counter that has started up at the top here underneath, and it shows your rotoscoped area. So it begins where the foot begins and it ends right there where our foot comes off the page. So what we want is to pull these little markers in to begin and end right here. And this will isolate those frames for us. That one's not quite there, so we'll pull it in, make sure it is. And let's have a run through and take a look at what this looks like. There we go. So now we have an isolated area, and there we go. Now I'd like you to have a look at these three icons at the bottom here. This is your toggle alpha, and if we come back to our image here, you can see when we select the toggle alpha, it shows us what we've actually selected, and you can see how rough it is. There's a ways to fix this that we're going to talk about, but let's finish talking. This brings you back to your original view that we were just working in, and the red one shows an overlay or a masking channel for you. So let's go back here and have a look at this. So here we have these icons, and we can use them to our benefit and take a look at the different things under the effects control panel. So this is going to affect your rotoscoping tool. And let's see. So we want to go here and take a look, and let's see. We want to select smooth. We'll add a little bit more to the smooth button, and we'll leave the feather. Now, choke is a bad one because it actually restricts what you're doing, and we definitely want to click Refine Matte. And as you can see, it is also clicked Motion Blur. And now you can really see the difference in the image. The things that are blurring will now be picked up better by the rotoscoping tool. So once we have these in place, and again, don't play with this one because it's just going to tighten everything and it will look surreal on your picture rather than natural, and it won't catch a lot of the things that you want it to. So beware of that. You can also play with feather, but smooth between 2 and 4 often helps. If you smooth too much, you start to cut off the corners of things. And then if you have a square image of some sort or an image with a lot of sharp edges, it will lose the definition completely. So do be aware of that. And keep that in mind. So now that we're happy with our image, we'll go back here and we're going to click the freeze tool or the freeze button here. And this caches what we've created. So let's do that, and we'll let it freeze. You can see how it's removing some of the information and adding other, and there we go. So now it's frozen. So this allows several things. This allows for an image to be put underneath it, or color correction to be done to just the area. So it's very versatile, and as you can see, we've lost some of the laces here, and I'm just going to unfreeze this for a moment and bring the size of my brush down and come in and recapture some of these areas here. That wasn't so great. A little jittery on my pass. There, we'll connect that. Maybe bring the size down just a little more and try and capture this. And a little more here. Better. Okay. Not bad. Aha, there we can see it on a white background now. And we have completely isolated that image.